Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we are opening up a kind of field guide for something called regenerative design. Think of it as a roadmap to help us all move from that feeling of being totally overwhelmed to taking real, meaningful action.
So let's just get real for a second. When you look at the sheer scale of the world's problems, climate change, social division, it is so easy to feel completely lost, right? You see all these issues, but the solutions, they just feel impossibly huge. Well, the first thing to know is you are definitely not alone in feeling that way. But what if there was a path forward? A map, even? What if the solution wasn't about trying to fix everything at once, but about starting an expedition? A journey of discovery, right in your own backyard. Okay, so before you head out on any big trip, you have to know where you're starting from. You got to understand the terrain. So let's take a minute to get our bearings and really look at the landscape of the challenges we're facing. There's a term for this complex landscape, the Metacrisis. It sounds a bit academic, I know, but all it really means is that our biggest problems, the ecological ones, the social ones, the economic ones, they aren't separate issues. They're all tangled up in this one big knot, and if you pull on one thread, you feel it everywhere else. In this image, it shows one of the core problems perfectly. Think about it like a planetary budget. That red on the outside, that shows we're way overspending our ecological budget. We're using up resources faster than the Earth can possibly regenerate them. But at the same time, that red on the inside shows we're also failing to meet the basic needs of billions of people. We're in overshoot and shortfall at the exact same time. So here's the big shift. Instead of getting paralyzed by that massive picture, this is an invitation to become what's called a bioregional explorer. It's about changing our focus from the global to the local, to the landscape of our own homes, and turning all that anxiety into curiosity and eventually action. And every explorer needs a map. So here's ours. It's a really clear 4-step learning path that we're going to walk through together. We're going to go from understanding our home turf all the way to drawing up our very own action plan.
All right, step 1. It's actually super simple. Before you can help regenerate a place, you have to really know it. It's time for us to put on our detective hats.
And the first clue we're looking for is our bioregion. That just means our life place. So for a minute, forget about city limits or state lines. Start thinking about your home in terms of its natural boundaries. The rivers and watersheds, the mountains, the types of forests, that is your bioregion. See, becoming a bioregional detective is all about learning to read the landscape. You start asking questions like, where does my water actually come from? What plants and animals are truly native to this area? Understanding these natural systems is the absolute foundation for designing solutions that actually fit your unique place. Okay, so once we know our territory, we're going to need a reliable compass to help us find our way. And for regenerative design, that compass is a brilliant system called permaculture. In a nutshell, permaculture is the design philosophy that basically mimics the patterns and relationships that we see out in nature. It's a super practical toolkit for creating homes, gardens, and whole communities that are resilient, productive, and truly sustainable. And the whole system is guided by 3 really simple but really powerful ethics. Every single decision you make gets filtered through these questions. Is this good for the earth? Is this good for people? And are we only taking what we need and sharing the rest? And from those ethics, you get these practical principles. Now, they might sound a little abstract at first, but they're incredibly intuitive. Couch and store energy? That's just a rain barrel. Obtain a yield? That's your vegetable garden. Produce no waste? Hey, that's your compost bin. It's all just smart, common sense design. When you start weaving these principles together, you get something that looks a little bit like this. This is not just a bunch of plants with a chicken coop next to them. No way. This is a designed ecosystem where the chickens provide fertilizer, the plants provide food and shade, and everything works together to create a resilient, self-regulating system. It's pretty amazing. Now, this expedition we're on, it's not a solo mission. Not at all. Regenerating our world isn't just about soil and water. It's about us. It's about people. You gotta remember, resilience is a team sport. And this is where something called social permaculture comes into play. It takes the very same principles we see in a healthy forest, things like diversity and mutually beneficial relationships, and it applies them to how we organize ourselves, our groups, our businesses, our communities. How can we work together more effectively, more harmoniously? And let's be real, this work can be tough. It can be emotionally draining.
That's why we also need what Joanna Macy calls active hope. Now, this is not blind optimism. It's the practice of looking the challenges square in the eye, honoring the grief or anxiety we feel, and then consciously choosing to act anyway. It's the inner fuel that keeps us explorers going.
All right, we're on the home stretch. We know our place, we've got our compass, our crew is ready to go. It is time for our fourth and final step, charting a course from all this learning to real, on-the-ground, local action. This is where the rubber finally meets the road, you guys. It's about taking all of these big ideas and actually applying them. Maybe for you that looks like starting a community garden, or organizing a tool-sharing library in your neighborhood, or getting a group together to restore a local creek. It's action that's scaled to your community. A really beautiful way to think about this whole process is the weaving resilience metaphor. All of the different things we've talked about, they're like individual threads. By themselves, they're useful, sure, but when you start weaving them together, you create something incredibly strong, beautiful, and whole.
So the threads of our tapestry look something like this. The great story connects us to the big picture, the universe. Our bioregional story grounds us right here, in our specific place. Active hope is that inner fuel for the journey. And permaculture, well, that provides all the practical tools. See? Every single thread is essential. And the last tool in your Explorer's Kit is the Bioregional Action Map. This is your personal plan. It's where you take your unique skills, your passions, your connections, and you decide exactly how you are going to weave your own thread into this bigger project of healing our communities and our planet.
So really, your expedition starts right now. This explainer, it's given you the map and the compass. The only question left is, what's that very first, small, totally achievable step that you are going to put on your bioregional action map today?